Good morning. As most of you know, yesterday at about 5 p.m., local law enforcement as well as state police and county responded to a shots fired call on Main Street on the east side of Red River. Upon arrival, we discovered 5 that were injured and transported to local hospitals. One of those that was transported was later pronounced deceased, and a 6th was airlifted to a Denver hospital. Bear with me here as I am tired and I'm trying to figure out who all these people are once again, but all 8 individuals have been identified as outlaw motorcycle gang members. 2 to be exact, the Banditos, and the second one is a group called the Water Dogs. The 3 deceased, which we'll be announcing, one was an Anthony Silva. He's 26, from Los Lunas, New Mexico. He was a Bandito. There was a Randy Sanchez, 46, of Albuquerque. He was a Water Dog. And there was a Damian Bro, 46, of Socorro, New Mexico, who was a Bandito. How this started, apparently the presentation of into Albuquerque over a photograph that was taken with a different gang, and that spilled over to here, where they ran into each other again. A confrontation started with words initially, then turned into a fight, which then turned to shots fired. At this time, we have a few people arrested, one of them being Jacob Castillo. He's 30 years old, from Rio Rancho. He was a Water Dog, and he is being charged with an open count of murder. And 2 of the folks that were injured have also been arrested on somewhat unrelated charges, but a Matthew Jackson, 39, of Austin, Texas. He was arrested for unlawful carrying of a firearm inside a liquor establishment. And the second one was also a Bandito by the name of Christopher Garcia, 41, also of Texas, for possession of cocaine. The 3 remaining individuals who we're not going to name today because they haven't been charged with anything and they are still alive, but there was a 53-year-old, a 31-year-old, and a 43-year-old male, 2 of which are Banditos, 1 of which is a Water Dog. As you can see outside, and this case will take some time, but state police is still investigating this with our partners with the Marshal's Office, the Sheriff's, FBI, and everybody else that's around that is able to assist have been helping us as much as they possibly can, so we appreciate that. And we would ask that if anybody witnessed it or has any video of the incident, which I'm sure there is a lot of it out there, we would ask them to call our dispatch center for this area, which is in Las Vegas. Somebody say something? Oh. The number is 505-425-6771, and that's option 1. Again, that's 505-425-6771, option 1. As far as personnel goes, I know that some of you may ask that, the community may ask how many officers we had assigned. I'll let the marshal speak for his department and the sheriff speak for his, but we had 32 assigned to this from the get-go. Prior to this incident happening on Friday, we had gotten some information from Texas DPS, who had been following approximately 400 or 500 Banditos from Texas to the New Mexico state line, knowing that they were headed here. So we had added an additional personnel Friday night, and that was 12. Post-shooting, we've obviously added a lot more. So currently we're at the 65 to 70 range, depending on what time it is during the day, and those folks, our officers, will remain here until the end of this event. One thing I want to caution everyone, and I'll apologize initially to the law-abiding citizens that came to Red River to have a good Memorial Day weekend, not the gangbangers that are ruining it for all of them, but for everyone, there will be 0 tolerance from this point forward. That is traffic violations for 1 mile an hour over, seatbelt, jaywalking. We are going to stop and talk to everyone if they violate any law, traffic or criminal, We're going to run them through NCIC. Anybody with warrants or anybody who can be arrested will be arrested. This is not going to happen again this weekend because we're not going to allow it. We'll also have people posted up on both ends of town, roving patrols, not only here but in Cuesta, also in Angel Fire, Eagle's Nest, Taos, the surrounding areas. We'll have folks in the bars too to make sure that they're not overserved, which was more than likely a contributing factor yesterday, but we'll figure that out in the days to come. Again, my apologies to the people that came here to have a good time. These gangbangers who are lawless, and what they are gangbangers, choose to have a 3-day sleepover in New Mexico and not follow any of our laws and bully people around here. And that's not going to be tolerated for the rest of this weekend or any Memorial Days moving forward. So that's all I have for now. I believe I'm the only one speaking, so if you have any questions, now would be the time.
Will Red River be shutting down today? Will festivities continue going on? Anything along those lines?
I can't answer that. I don't have control of that. But yeah, if they're a gangbanger, it's not going to be a fun next 2 days. I can assure you that. So whether it's open or closed, it's not going to be a good time.
Chief, you had several hospitals on lockdown yesterday. You had UNM in Albuquerque, you had Holy Cross up in Taos, you had the Denver hospital on lockdown. I think from speculation we kind of know why. But can you verbalize why those hospitals were put on alert last night?
Yes, ma'am. That's a great question. It's been our experience, and I think it's been the experience around the country when dealing with these types of gangbangers, is that when somebody gets shot or is killed and they go to the hospital, all their friends like to go there to be with them or pay respects or to protect them. But again, we had a mess here. We didn't also want to have a mess at all the hospitals because there's obviously a ton of innocent folks there that needed our protection. So I would like to thank the sheriff who handled the hospital in Taos and APD who handled UNM for us. We obviously had all of our resources up here, and I think that went relatively well, although it was a little sketchy to begin with. But.
And Chief, there's speculation that of the 3 that are dead, one may be a chapter leader for the Banditos and one of the arrested may be a chapter leader coming out of Texas. Can you confirm any of that information at all?
I think you already got our press release, but yes, one of them, one of the deceased, I believe, was a chapter leader here in New Mexico, and then the Matthew Jackson, the 39-year-old from Austin, Texas, was apparently the chapter leader for that area of Texas.
Chief, could you reiterate how many people were being treated at the Holy Cross Hospital in Taos, UNM, and also the Denver hospital?
I think everybody was in, please don't quote me on this. I can tell you there was 8 people that were shot, 3 of them are deceased, so 5 are still either, I believe 4 in local hospitals, 1 got flown to Denver. I don't know the sequence of events for each one of them, if they went to Holy Cross first and then to UNM. I just know that one of them went to Denver and the rest went to New Mexico Hospital.
Will
Yes,
there
ma'am.
be difficulty getting into Red River, or are you just recommending that people do not come in for the rest of the weekend?
I'm not going to recommend that. It's not my city, but difficult. We plan to have checkpoints on both sides of DWI checkpoints. Yeah.
Chief, correct me if I'm wrong here. This is the 41st year for this event. Is this the first time it's come back since COVID? It was here last year, correct?
I believe so. Yes.
Chief, can you tell us how many rounds were fired yesterday?
We don't have that yet. We're still working on the scene.
Can you talk about your crime scene? I mean, it's pretty vast. Can you talk about the crime scene that you're going over right now and why it may be a difficult one?
I don't know that it was that difficult. I mean, it was contained in a decent sized areas compared to what we're used to seeing. But a lot of casings. Obviously, there's a lot of vehicles, a lot of motorcycles, buildings. I mean, thankfully, as far as we know so far, no innocent folks were hurt. Just gangbanger on gangbanger. But I think we got fortunate.
Chief, I know this question may not be directed towards you, but probably towards the mayor. How soon will we know if festivities can continue in Red River for the Memorial Day celebration? Anything like, will we get an update at some point today about that?
On the recommendation of state police and our local law enforcement, we are encouraging our businesses to not be open. We do realize that we have a town full of people that still need to eat and be taken care of. So the ones that open will be taking extra caution to make sure they keep everybody safe.
And Chief, I guess the last question for you is, several of these bikers have left town. We saw them on the way out last night, again this morning. They may be in Albuquerque, they may be going back to Texas. That doesn't stop them from any sort of retaliation. So do you have any last words of advice for those bikers?
It's going to be a long ride home. We have people all over the state looking for them. Again, 1 mile an hour here. It's also 1 mile an hour in Las Cruces if they see them. So reasonable suspicion and probable cause will be making contact. Yeah, it's not happening anywhere this weekend.
And you have ATF here as well, the FBI. What is their involvement in this investigation?
The FBI is assisting us with various things. They offered a lot of support as far as crime scene goes. We didn't need it. Offering a lot of support by way of looking at these folks on the federal side to see if we'll have some charges there. And then I'm begging them to do some other stuff that hopefully we'll be able to announce later this week. As you're from Albuquerque, you know how that goes.
Chief, one other question. How many of the 8 were banditos and how many were water dogs?
One of the deceased, Anthony Silva, bandito. Deceased, Randy Sanchez, water dog. Damian Bro, bandito. Jacob Castillo, water dog. Matthew Jackson, bandito. Christopher Garcia, bandito.
Here in Red River, but in Cuesta, Taos, any of the surrounding areas, all the way down to Las Cruces, to the Texas border as well?
I mean, I believe we have everybody that was involved last night. We're still looking at some things. We think we do, but this is a problem everywhere. 4 days ago, banditos were in a shootout in Lubbock. Early in April, I believe there was 2 shootouts, one in Oklahoma City, another one in Dallas involving banditos. So, I mean, I wish I can guarantee everyone that they're safe, but if you see them around and they're in a group, and give us a call so we can collect the intel.
Chief, I know you said earlier on in your press conference that this stemmed from a different altercation before it came. Do we know where that altercation happened and what it was over?
It was in Albuquerque, and what we're being told, it was over somebody taking a picture with a different gang. It's something as stupid as that.
Chief, how soon will Main Street in Red River be opening up, clearing out that crime scene? How soon will traffic be able to go through?
I was told 8, but it's not open yet, so I would imagine it's pretty close. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.